Our next special guest is, of course, Grandmaster Alex Yermolinsky. He's my uncle. He's everyone's uncle, known to the Chess.com's fans as Uncle Yermo. And whenever you need to bring in somebody to really tell the story behind the scenes and describe in a position that, unfortunately for the fans watching it live, petered out very quickly. But Alex has a little more to tell us about the story here, starting with the fact that this D5 idea, as I understand it from you, is an idea that really kind of belongs to Levon Aronian. And I'm going to let you talk about this position and what Karjakin chose to play here on move 12.
Yeah, it's sort of a Marshall, right? I mean, similar to the Marshall Gambit. But of course, white leaves the c3 square open for the knight. And therefore, it was considered impossible for black to play the Marshall unless the white pawn gets to c3. But Levon Aronian, along with some others, years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, came up with this move, knight d4. And the concept is that, so the white bishop is going to be traded, and that's the key piece, of course. We're looking at the pawn on f7, but this bishop is going to be gone from the boards real soon. And then, even if white gets to take toward the center with the a pawn, then the black knight perches on b4 quite comfortably. And, well, that's the whole idea. And it was played many times, and Karjakin himself faced it against Alexander Anishchuk. I see in your analysis here, I also looked at those games.
And that's exactly what happened here, the way you just described the nature of where the position is headed. I know you said that bishop to d2 is probably a slightly better move order than knight to c3, but let's move actually past that and get to, after knight c3, knight b4, this next move that was played by Karjakin that left some puzzled. Talk about this.
Yeah, it really left me puzzled because he knows this position like no other. You know, he faced it more than once.
You're
and
talking
bishop
about
d2 is
Sergei
supposed to
Karjakin
be
has faced this,
yeah. Bishop
so
d2.
what else was he supposed to play then instead of bishop f4? And
He was supposed to put the
bad?
bishop on d2.
Okay.
Well, even here. Now, interestingly enough, if black places the pawn on c5, which is similar to what Carlsen did in the game, then white begins this business with knight e4. And the difference being, you know, that of course, you know, we have this problem on f7, and black most likely has to take on b3 right now. Otherwise, he cannot move the f-pawn. But then this happens now. f5, logically. f5. Knight goes to g3. Well, this all has been played before. No. Queen d5. All right. Forces the white knight back. So we're quoting this game between Karjakin and Anishchuk. And then the queen goes back to d7. And at this moment, no, I don't really know. I mean, this capture on b4, that's what Karjakin did. Black still has compensation, but no, at least, you know, white can maintain his material advantage.
Is it possible to say that Sergei was a little worried about Magnus maybe having an improvement over Anishchuk's play as black from the Olympiad, or is it still just to you that fear doesn't justify the move bishop f4 instead of bishop d2 in your mind?
No, it's a Karpov strategy, right? When you get surprised in the opening, then you choose the safe move. Karpov did it so many times. And then have your team prepare and look at the main line. I don't know if in such a short match, in a 12-game match, when we're already halfway through, I don't know if this strategy is viable. But possibly, keeping in mind, you know, the entire match strategy that Karjakin demonstrates here, maybe that's exactly what he wants.
And so, speak to that a little bit, because, you know, Karjakin is a good Russian schoolboy, and we know you're famous for your show.
Yeah.
Every Russian schoolboy knows. So you think that you're implying that maybe bishop f4 is played, and he knows that bishop e2 is better, but in terms of the overall match strategy, he's creating an opportunity for this line to be repeated.
Well, I don't know if Magnus is that naive. Well, if he's gonna fall for this stuff, and besides bishop d2, I believe it's a better choice than bishop f4, and I guess most players would agree with that, but still it's playable for black. I don't know if we're gonna see this again, but I bet we're not gonna see bishop f4 again.
Okay.
Because bishop f4 is a total dud. There is just nothing to do there.
And it's exactly because of what happened in the game, everybody. This forcing
much.
sequence. This forcing sequence pretty much forces what you saw, where this knight has to head to g5, and everybody gets traded. And just to
let's
remind
not
the fans,
blunder along the way. Let's not take on g5 with the bishop and blunder into bishop takes f3.
that would be
We
a
don't want
bad
that
idea.
to happen. Absolutely not.
Right, removal of the defender tactic. Uncle Yermo always here to remind us of our basics, and we're actually gonna thank you on that note, Alex, and say, all right, well, that insight and maybe implying what Karjakin might be thinking to set a little bit of a trap. We'll see if Carlsen falls for it, but likely not that naive. Either way, we thank you for providing that insight, and we look forward to you joining us again on the 21st.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you, Danny.